Welcome to another episode of Conversations with the Fly Aunt. I am your residential auntie. I like to think so, Ebony Ivory. And we have a very special fly guest in the house. Introduce yourself to the people, please.
Hey. Hello, everybody. I'm Naja. I am a mom. I'm a daughter. I am a spiritual being here having a human experience, and I'm just excited to be here with the Fly Aunt. Okay, we're gonna have some good conversations today, and yeah.
I'm so happy you could join us, hailing all the way from NYC. We got my Booski Boo in the building, and today, if you can't tell, we are going to be discussing ways to vibrate higher, okay? So if you ever have heard the term maybe on social media, you'd be like, oh, that's very low vibrational. Or, I'm just trying to vibe higher. I'm trying to catch a vibe. I'm trying to catch a frequency. We are going to be discussing a few ways that you can raise your vibration. And also we're going to talk about what we think is low vibrational behavior. And remember, again, as always, this little disclaimer, all things can be subjective. What we're saying is not Bible, okay? It's subjective. We just want to get you up and on your way to vibrating higher. All right. So I have my little iPad here. Y'all got on me about having my little notebook. So I'm trying to step it up for y'all and have my little iPad here. What? So the first thing I wanted to jump into is kind of what the meaning is to vibrate higher. Because, maybe you haven't heard of this term or this is something that is new to you. So what does vibrating higher mean? So basically we have exuding a sense of trust and positivity, and it can influence friends or even strangers. But the exuding part is the vibrating higher, because if you ever notice, have you ever seen somebody and they just walk into a room and it's just like they just have like this glow about them, It's not, they don't even have to say anything, like
you just feel the energy,
like like when I walked in, you were fixing you were fixing your little drink up, and it's just like the energy from you just felt very light, very very welcoming. It was like, and I think we need to have more of that in the world, because sometimes people, when you encounter people and you haven't seen them, sometimes I read and I feel people's energies.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can be very heavy and very sad. And, not for nothing, for most of us, we've all experienced like sadness in our lives.
Yes, absolutely.
For me, this week I had a hell of a week. So, I was very much in a low place, and I was like, I need to pick myself up.
Yes.
I need to pick myself up. So tell the people, give us some ideas. Like, how can you, if you're feeling low, what can we do to pick ourselves up?
Okay. So for me, what I do, I know when I'm feeling low, I don't like to stay in that space long. I feel my emotions, I go through it, and I'll pick up my journal. I will turn on some music, turn it up loud. I'll sage my house.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Open windows, sage my house, light some candles. Or I go to the gym to get that energy, or even going outside, because when you're inside the house and you're already feeling down, you might just need some fresh air. You going outside and feeling that air is it makes a huge difference. So that for sure. And maybe just treating yourself, I'm gonna go get a pedicure today. I was supposed to go next week, but I'm going today because I need to feel better.
I know that's right. So for me, when I was feeling down, for me, I love roses,
Yeah.
but I don't like red roses. So when I go out, I always make it a habit to always purchase colored roses. So I went out. I was like, look, I'm going to go purchase me some roses. I did that. I love seafood. I went and bought me, like, they had the crabs on sale at the grocery store, honey. I went and purchased like 2 pounds of crabs, had them cook it up. Even though I like to cook, sometimes I like for other people to take the hard work on for me. Got some crabs, and then I just came back home, and then like I sat and I just took a couple of deep breaths.
Yes.
And lit a candle and just really had an attitude of gratitude. And I think that also will shift your vibrations. If you remember all of the good things that you have going on and all the things that you have to be grateful for,
you start to feel good. Like,
yes.
It makes you feel good. Like,
right.
I call it a gratitude rampage. That's what I do.
Oh, I love that.
I got that from, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Abraham Hicks or Esther Hicks. Really good to listen to on YouTube if you are feeling down. That's another thing I do. Okay. I'll turn that on. But a gratitude rampage. So I go in my journal and I just list everything that I'm grateful for until I feel like I can't list no more. And then when I come out of it, it's like, okay, like there's a lot for me to be grateful for. So why are you so down in this mood right now? Like, get out of it, shake it off, and move on.
I love that. A gratitude rampage. That's amazing. That's really sizzling in my spirit, because it's like sometimes you can take your gratitude for the things that you have. You can take that stuff for granted. And I don't think enough people lean into the things that you do have to be grateful for, because I know the cliche term is what I'm going through is bad. Somebody else's could be a lot worse. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I think it's a better thing to focus in on what it is that you do have, and the possibilities that you can have even more as well.
Right.
Because there's 24 hours in a day, and ain't nothing but space and opportunity when it comes to these kind of things.
So true.
So I love that gratitude rampage. So on your journey to vibrating higher, like, my thing is this, for me, I didn't even really understand any of this until I got into my 40s, right? So you being a young lady that's under the age of 40, how did you come to find this kind of vibration? Like, this is what I wanted to, this is what I need to do in order to lift myself back up. Because many of us, when we're in a bad mood, we could stay there for days, for weeks at a time. Yes. We don't even know that, sometimes we're not cognizant that we have the power to switch our own mood and not let the outside forces just have complete autonomy over us.
Yes.
So how did you become, aware of even how to vibrate higher? Is it something that you learned, you read, it was passed down to you? Talk about that.
I do feel like it was for sure passed down to me from my mom. She always took time to make sure we sat at the dinner table and prayed together. And she has this book by Iyanla Vanzant. It's the Daily Inspiration, some type of book like that. But she read that to us every single day. She would have us come in her room, sit on the bed, and we do breath work. Like, we do a little meditation and stuff.
Oh, shout out to Jermaine.
Shout out to my mama.
Shout out to Mama Jermaine.
Shout out to her. And then I just remember from the time I was young, I've been journaling probably since I was 10. And I just remember when I was angry, or even if I was happy, or if something happened that day, going to write in my journal, let me go write about this. And that was a way for me to release emotions when I was upset. And writing has helped me, because it's once you write it on paper, it's okay, it's done. Whether it's manifesting, whether you're releasing some emotions that you may have, right, or maybe just sharing something about your day. It's just a good way to release. And I would write in my journal when I was angry, and I noticed that it did make me feel a little bit better.
Okay. So let me ask you this, because for me, I was scared I referred to it as a diary. I was scared to keep my diary. And as you speak as a 10-year-old having a journal, it's really... So your mom gave you a journal and was like,
It was actually me that wanted it. Like,
Okay.
so at Toys R Us, like when I was younger, we used to get these Toys R Us gift cards for Christmas from my uncles or whatever. And I remember going to Toys R Us and I love like stationery, notebooks, pens. Like that's my thing. So I went out. I remember like Lisa Frank. That was like a brand.
Yes. That's the big thing. All the cool colors.
All of the stickers, all that. So I used to like stuff like that. And I remember seeing remember the password journal? They had the password journal.
Oh, you taking me down memory lane.
Yeah, it was like a password journal. And I was like, that's what I want. I want this journal. Like out of everything in Toys R Us, that's what I wanted. And it started from there. Like and it was like, it had a password on it. So I was like, oh good, nobody's gonna go in my journal. Nobody knows my password. So yeah.
So you journaled a lot, and that's just something else. What else did Mama Jermaine do? You did breath work. That's like really amazing.
Yeah, like
too.
she just have us close our eyes, like take deep breaths in and breathe out and silence your mind. And me and my sister, of course, we were young, so we would be laughing sometimes, making eye contact, not really focusing.
Of course.
But as I got older and I started those practices like on my own or with my kids, I like seen the benefits of it. I'm like, this really works. Like, cause you will hear like, you know, maybe when you're in school or whatever, they're like, just take a deep breath and it'll be okay. And it's like, no, I can't take a deep breath right now. Like I'm angry. Like,
right.
And you got all of that right here in your chest. But when you do take a deep breath, it does like, you feel the release in your body. You feel the calm come down when you take some deep breaths. So that right there, like, it helps so much. Like I do this with my kids too. Like when I was doing the abundance book, the going on that journey, like I had my kids join in doing the meditation and I could see the difference in them. Like being calmer. My mom does it with my daughter. So it's like, that was.
So I love to see that because on your social media, you're very visual with like, the little, even though it's not like we're seeing like 24 hours, but I feel like the glimpses that we do get to see on social media are very, very much like light and love. Like, you know, I see little stars like floating around you, you know what I'm saying? So, and then I also love the interaction that I see with your daughters as well, because they are very much, their kids are just like sponges.
Yes.
And as your kids get older, because like mine are getting older, like I'm finally starting to see like the seeds that I've planted with them. You finally start to see the fruit of it. So that's amazing. So just like when your mom was teaching you breath work and you were getting into journaling, and look how like, you know, years down the line that pans out. So I also would say this too to the people: when you start something, don't think that it's lost upon your kids, even though they may not grasp it in that moment. You may not just see the fruit of it till later on down the line. So in your journey as well of vibrating higher, I feel as though you start to gain like an emotional awareness about certain things and kind of really come intact with your emotions and your feelings. And I feel like when you start the journey, like, because as for me, I just felt like I was just sensitive to everything going on around me. I felt like something had clicked on and I could like really, things that I'm sure I've seen before or have heard before, once that part of me unlocked, I would say I started to kind of connect with it like on a deeper level. I feel like I was more calm. I was a lot more loving. I think I was more gracious too. I think, you know, from someone that has like a rigid and very structured upbringing, I would feel like everything around me still needed to be like very rigid and very structured. But as I started leaning into like wanting to ascend and wanting to vibrate higher and just wanted to be a different woman, I felt like I became a lot more gracious during the process, because I was like, I'm feeling like all of this stuff. Like, like what is going on? What is this? Like I'm crying more. Like I'm seeing a movie on TV and
my emotions are like, I'm so connected with the
yes, you're so connected. I was even watching something the other day and it got my spirit, like the back of my neck got hot. And I was like, what is this?
What is that?
I just know this is not real, but like, why am I having this feeling? So that's something you got to be aware of when you get to vibrating higher and you get to leaning into your more positive gains of life. Like I really truly believe I look at the glass half full. Like I don't look at it half empty. Like, let me tell y'all something. Like this week has been an extremely difficult week for me. And you know, I wasn't even sure, just in a moment of transparency, if I was gonna, you know, be able to go through and film this weekend because everything was stacked up like against me. Like I should, like maybe because it's Resurrection Sunday, I need to just sit down somewhere. I shouldn't even be doing this today. But then looking at the glass half full, it's like, I have so much to gain. And I feel like when the tables turn against you, you have to lean in further, because I feel like the enemy is trying to block whatever message that I could be sending out to the world, that she could be sending out to the world, or whatever God has put on your heart to pursue. The enemy could be trying to attack you from moving forward. So just remember that sometimes it's best to just, as hard as it may be, forage and push through it. Look at the glass half full. Look at all the things you have to gain from pursuing the dream. Because remember, God doesn't put all of this stuff just on anybody. Right. He gives it to us because we have the capability and ability to make it happen. Right. So don't ever feel as though, oh, you just got a dream and that's it. No, the dream is there for you to pursue and to push through. Yes. So I don't know if anybody needed some confirmation out here, but that dream that you have is just not fleeting. It is for real and it is for a purpose, and you need to make it happen. Because guess what? The difference between people is you have those that let their dreams just sit here, and those that are actively pursuing it. Mm-hmm. That's just the difference. Now, we talked about vibrating high. Let's get into some low vibrational stuff. All right. So you gotta have the high and the low. You gotta have the high and the low. We gotta recognize the balance, because I vibrated low I'm sure you have too. We've all vibrated low at times, you know, and this is why we're saying, look, this is what you got to do to vibrate higher, because we've all been low sometimes. I didn't like that feeling when I was low, like low. Like it's a lot. Like many of us, you know, we're coming out of winter, going into spring. Many people are suffering from seasonal depression. Mm-hmm. That's a very real thing, and people may not even understand that they could be experiencing depression. Like many people think like, oh, I'm just having a bad day, or I'm just sad. And your sadness is carrying on for weeks and months. And you start to become to function within your sadness, because you're not really aware that, you know, you could be suffering from depression. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm not a doctor or a health professional to speak on that. But what I am saying is, you know, be cognizant of your mood and what it is that you are experiencing. And like she mentioned, journaling is a great way to do that. You can track your mood through journaling. Like if every day you write something and then you go back to that, you know, you kind of figure some stuff out about yourself. Yeah, you do. You figure some stuff out. You see if you're going through repeating certain cycles and certain habits. Like it really makes you look at yourself. Like you're like, oh, I was doing the same thing around this time last year. Like literally, like you'll understand that. Like, okay, during the winter, I wasn't as active or out doing this, but once the spring and the weather got nice, it was like, oh, okay, like you started doing more. Like, or maybe like where there's a gap in your journal within a certain amount of time, it's like, why you ain't tap in? What you had going on? Like, right. Like for me, that's what I see. I'm like, why haven't you been journaling? Like it's been 2 weeks. Like, so. And I think that's a really good way to keep track of where you are mentally too.
Yes.
It's a really good way to tap in and remember, because oftentimes, you know, like when you're writing in your journal, you're just writing in the heat of the moment, and sometimes people don't reflect and read back on that. And another way to vibrate higher, so to speak, is to do a lot of self-reflection.
Yeah, a lot.
A lot of self-reflection. And let me tell you something, the vibrating higher, it ain't for the weak either.
It's not.
Yeah, it's not.
Takes work.
It's a lot
takes
of work.
real work.
It's not bubblegum and cloud trying to vibrate higher and be a better person. Because guess what? We're still dealing with the real world and everything else
and
that
the
we have going.
problems and stuff.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly. We're still living with all of those things. So when you're calling yourself to be a better person and to vibrate higher, you know, we got to let go or taper down on some low vibrational things that we partake in. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Vibrating low, being a grudge holder. I'm sorry, it is what it is. And I'm working on being, you know, less of a grudge holder in less time. I like to say that.
Okay. In less time.
I like to give myself a rule. If I'm sad, the max is 24 hours. And that's a lot for me. If I'm sad, I'm giving myself 24 hours. I'm actively working on how to come out of that. If I got a grudge going on with somebody, you got to give me 2 days. I got a 2-day waiting period on my grudge that I'm holding.
That's good though, but that's okay. Like, you know, that's better than some people who hold it in for years, because it's like when you hold on to things, like it festers in your body and becomes sickness. It becomes like, you know, you're dealing with certain things, or it comes up in other relationships because you haven't dealt with it. You haven't released it. Like, and people always think they have to go to this person and have the conversation to clear it up.
Come
or
on,
close
talk
the
about
chapter.
it.
Let me tell you, you could cut the cord without doing that. Like, you can have your moment to yourself where you forgive. Like, because the forgiving and all of that is for you, okay? It's not for the person. It's for you. And you want to make sure that you're feeling your best self. So you don't want to hold on to something and then, like, now all of a sudden you're having issues in other relationships because of what you have with this other person. Right.
And that also grudge holding, lack of forgiveness.
Yeah.
That is a very low vibrational behavior. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't things that we can't imagine that we can't forgive for.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm saying.
Exactly.
I'm not saying that. But I'm saying there are things that, is it going to matter in 5 days? Is it going to matter in 5 weeks? Is it going to matter in 5 years? Those kinds of things we have to do better at letting go. And I like to refer to this little thing that I like to say. Like when I travel, I like to say, I like a check bag and I like the carry-on bag, right? Those are 2 types of luggage when we travel. Mm-hmm. I prefer the carry-on bag because I can easily take it with me.
Yes.
Get off the plane, get to my destination.
Yeah.
With the check bag, I gotta check the bag in. Then I gotta talk to the gate agent. Maybe not. Mm-hmm. Depends on the flight. Then when I get off the plane, then I gotta wait around. I got to wait for the people to unload my stuff. And then I get to take my check baggage wherever I go. I want you to see where I'm going with this. Sometimes we have to treat certain issues in our life. We have to treat them like our carry-on bag.
Yes.
Only take what you can really carry with you. Right. You can't check that other stuff with you. That grudge holding, don't need to be in your check bag. That's not what you need to carry around with you. Unforgiveness is not something you need to carry in your check bag. That's not that stuff. You don't need to take that. You don't need to travel with that.
You don't need to travel with that.
Pack light.
Pack light. And this is something else I want to say. Like, when you do forgive or like you heal relationships, like you unlock new levels in your life. You unlock like blessings that are for you. Like maybe there's something you've been waiting on or waiting to receive. And it says 2:22 on the clock. That's my number right there. Sorry, just like that. But that's but when you hold on to something, like you really could be blocking something that's for you. Like if you've been waiting for something to come through and it hasn't, it's like you're delaying something that could be for you because you're holding on and you're in this negative space. I know for me personally, I had this issue with someone and we didn't speak for a while and it was like bothering me, and I always, like, I kept trying to speak, like, what's going on? Like, let's have this conversation. Like, I miss you and let's do this. So it just went on for like longer than I felt it should. And then when we finally spoke, I'm telling you, we spoke, we cleared it up, and it felt good. I felt lighter. They felt lighter. And literally the next day I got a call for something that I've been waiting on, like something that I needed. And like, it was like literally healing that relationship. I seen it like unlock a blessing. So heal relationships with people, like release. And like we said, you don't have to call them. You don't have to. You can wish them well and do it on your own space. But it does unlock new levels for you.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. And also too, I think you have to we also have come to understand on this journey too, when you're trying to vibrate higher too, it calls for you to be the bigger person sometimes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It does. And when you don't want to, you like, do I have to do this?
And something in
like,
you, yes, something is around you and surrounding. Say it, and no matter how much you try to avoid it, because baby, sometimes I don't want to be the bigger person. I want to stay. I don't. Sometimes I just don't want to. I just don't want to do it. But something is always pushing that you have to.
And for me, I'm usually the bigger person. Like, I'm usually the one that's the bigger person. They're trying to have a conversation. They're trying to, like, clear things up. And I remember it was this one point I did not want to do it. I was like, no, I'm tired of being that person. I don't want to do it. Like, I don't care. I don't want this connection. I really don't care. But it was like, it just kept coming up, like, and showing up into my life. It just kept popping up until something happened and I had to actually speak to them. And it was like, okay, let's clear
and
this
then after and let me ask you this. So, and then after you cleared it up, did it really seem like it was as big as because sometimes
it wasn't even as big.
Yeah, because that's what
not
it is.
Even this big. It was just like
a simple miscommunication.
It was a miscommunication. And in the book, The 4 Agreements, my favorite agreement is don't take anything personal, because when people have, like, you may feel like somebody's attacking you or has like an issue with you, it's really something that they're dealing with on the inside. Like, it's nothing to do with you, even though you might be the one that's getting attacked or feel like you're being attacked. It's what they're dealing with personally. So I had to realize that too. Like, you know what? This person, it's not even about me. Like, they're hurting. They have stuff that they have to heal within themselves. And this is why I'm the one that, that they're throwing their anger or their shade to, is because, like, it's certain things are making them take a look at their self right now. And it's like they're not happy. So you have to know that it's never take anything personal. That is my favorite agreement in the 4 Agreements.
I read the 4 Agreements and I do agree with you. The never taking it personally agreement is life-changing.
Yes.
It is it really is life-changing. And you can hear the song, don't take it personal.
Yes.
That book. If you're trying to vibrate higher and ascend, the 4 Agreements is a book you should definitely put in your arsenal. It's really, like my little Bible really too. Is.
Like my little second Bible. Like it's really it's a quick read.
Yes, very engaging as well.
Yes, very quick. Engaging. It's good. It's good.
Yeah,
one of my favorite books.
Yeah, don't take it personal. I'm so glad you brought that up. That is a great way to ascend into vibrating higher. Another thing we had to do is when we're vibrating low, being vindictive, aka petty. That is a big one for a lot of people. I remember one time, I'll share with you guys, I had a little petty little bell in me. And let me tell you something. I got cleared. When I say I got cleared by my ex, he told me, I knew you was a scorekeeping ass bitch.
Like, they're going to check you and let you know. Ooh.
Let me tell you something. When he said that to me, I was gagged. I was like, I clutched my pearls. I was like, However, he was right though. And I could in that moment, of course he was right. I was gagged, but again, it's a level of self-awareness we all have to have. And when someone kind of points out something to you, I think it's also important to say, did I do that?
Did I do that? Right. Pay attention.
Yeah. Did I do that? Because I think sometimes we can, I come from I have like a very ego-driven family. Like, they are very self-assured of who they are and what they are, and they stand in that 10 toes down. And I'm learning on this journey is that sometimes my ego can get in the way of certain things. I'm not even gonna hold you, my ego, because I'm just like, I know my stuff.
Right.
Like you ain't about to, you know what I'm saying? I ain't coming across like that. But I've learned that sometimes it is perfectly fine to say, wait a minute, let me take a step back. Let me do some, I like to call it self-inventory.
Yes.
Do some self-inventory and say, okay, Ebony, did you really do what it is that they're saying? And even if it's a little bit of a degree, 50%, 20%, that is that person's truth.
Yes.
How they receive me, that is that person's truth. I don't have to take on what it is, but I can be respectful enough to say that did happen and I can go about it another way.
Yeah.
And that takes, when I tell y'all, that takes a lot out of you to like understand and know you can't move the way that you want to move all the, in that era of how you want to move all the time. Because I want to be able to get my message across. I want you to be able to receive what I'm saying. I want you to be able to receive what I'm saying. And I have to come to the understanding that my communication can't just be this one size fits all, take it or leave it kind of thing. We have to talk to people with a level of compassion. We have to talk to people with a level of understanding. And we also have to listen.
Yes, we have to. We have to listen. Like, I literally had an ex tell me one time, because my communication wasn't that great before. I'm not going to lie. Like, I would like keep things in. I would see something and be like, oh, noted. Okay. Like, oh, okay, you did that? All right.
That's
and
that scorekeeping.
Yes. I was doing the scorekeeping. Like, I would do that. And then it would just build up. And then I blow up. Now I'm angry. Now I'm mad. Now it's an argument. And they're like, wait a minute. Why didn't you just tell me? Like, why don't you talk to me? And I'm just like, and after that, I was like, you know what? Any future relationships, whether it be romantic, friendships, family, I'm going to make sure I'm communicating clearly, because I don't want to hold on to this, hold on to that, and then blow up. Like that's very
it's a
unhealthy,
lot.
okay?
Yeah, super duper unhealthy.
Like low vibration.
Very low vibrational behavior that we have going on sometimes. And my thing is this too. We are not perfect. We are not without flaw. We are not without setback. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
The important thing is that you recognize these things within yourself, and you're constantly just rechecking yourself, constantly just progressing, just moving forward. Like, okay, I did that today. Let me try to go a week and not do it. You know, it's never perfection. It's always progression.
Yes.
It's always progression. I want people to understand this is like a lifelong thing. This is not something that you're going to be able to do in like 30 days and whoop, I'm a new woman.
Right.
I'm a new woman, honey. I got my face and my makeup on, honey. She is all of the things of a thing. She is brand new. She is high vibrational, honey. That's not how any of this works. It is a daily struggle, because it is a struggle sometimes. And let me tell you something, just speaking personally, like for people that have children, I have children, baby, there is nobody else that tells you more about yourself than your children.
Oh my God. Tell you,
and they ain't sparing your feelings, because from the mouth of babes, it is just a way that they see things, and a way that they view things, and when you hear it from them, it just hits you. It hits differently.
They see you.
They see you. All of you
every day. All parts of you, like parts that you can't hide. Something you might try to hide from the world. They see it. They observing. Like, okay.
And I think I like to say, like, for me, I stay getting ate up by my kids. Like, they be telling me about myself on a daily. And it's like, I could never, like, go to my mom and, like, tell my mother those things. So, one, again, I'm looking at the glass half full. Like, they're able to feel comfortable enough to express
express,
themselves,
yes.
to express themselves, and they're open enough with me to be like, look, lady, what's going on?
Right.
I'll give an example. I hadn't been like, I've been taking on a lot of different things in this chapter of my life. And I'm grateful that I'm in a position to do the things that I've been doing, but it has been a balancing act. So the mom and the attentiveness that they're kind of used to, they haven't been seeing it as much in regards, especially to mealtime. So for me, like cooking for my family, that is like my love language. Like if I cook for you, like I love you bad. Like if I cook for you, because I put when I don't lob stuff together. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
When I'm massaging that meat, I'm like, yeah, this thing finna be good. I'm manifesting.
Yes,
I'm manifesting over that, man.
video.
Thank you. So it's like, when I do that, and my son came to me, he like, look, what's going on,
Right.
Ebony? You've been talking about having a fin for yourself day for the last few days. What is going on? We not used to this, And I'm like, but y'all getting older and this and that. And they like, that's our connection to you in a way.
Yeah.
And my daughter, she had to explain to me, I have like a 7-year age gap between my oldest son and my oldest daughter. So she kind of put things in perspective for me. She's like, you got to understand too, we are at school all day. She was like, there's times I wouldn't, because the school lunch wasn't that great.
Right.
She was like, there are times I wouldn't eat at school because I know when I get home, my mom is going to have dinner ready and going to have stuff waiting on me to eat. So it was like, oh, wow. When she put it into that kind of perspective, like, oh, this is needed.
Yeah.
This is not, just a thing that we just mom need to cook kind of thing. I need my meal kind of thing. This is like, no, we're really relying on you to get not only that nourishment, but that connection from you.
Yes.
Because it is, like you mentioned, your mom, you guys would have dinner and stuff like that. Like my thing was, they'll be at the counter or whatever, and we'll have our connection and we'll have our time that way too.
Yeah.
So it's like, ooh, I kind of feel bad. Like, ooh, let me try to, and it's all a balancing act. But that's a part of being able to, ascend and to vibrate higher, because my kids can come to me and tell me that, and I can move forward and adjust myself to appease them in that way, because I want them to know that even though mommy is taking time to pursue an abundance of things, that me connecting with you is still of importance to me as well. And I think people have to understand that, yes, you can do all of the things, but there's always balance. So I also just want to tap into this really quick. So we talked about high vibrating and we talked about low vibrating. So say you've listened to this episode, don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe, okay? However, you want to say, okay, I want to go on this journey. I want to start to vibrate higher. Can you give us just like a couple of things so that we can try to get people going on the right foot, on the right direction?
Okay. So I would definitely say tap into books, like read. I love reading. Like when I was younger, I used to read all these stories. And my mom used to be like, why are you reading these books, like True to the Game, all of those books? She was like, what are you reading this for? And I'm like, at least I'm reading. Like that used to be my thing. At least I'm reading.
Right.
But my mom had a bookshelf full of books that I never really paid attention to until I started kind of like coming into like a spiritual journey, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. And I was looking out and she had Iyanla Vanzant, and there was this book, One Day My Soul Just Opened Up. I read that book and I feel like that changed a lot of things for me.
Okay.
I also read Abraham Hicks' Acts and It Is Given. That book is really an amazing book, and it transformed a lot of things in my mind and how I looked at things and looked at the world. Like, I feel like the spiritual side of you knows, like it's all knowing. So when you read certain things or you hear certain things, it's more so confirmation and like it's a reminder.
Right.
for you to tap back in. Like, you already know these things. You have these tools within you. So I would say to read, some books, find some like spiritual books to read or high vibrating books to read. And then also tap into meditation, quiet your mind so that you can receive the answers that you do need. Because, when you pray, you're asking or giving thanks, but when you meditate, you're quieting your mind so that you can receive the answers that God has for you.
Right.
So I would say, meditate for sure. Try different hobbies. Like if you're somebody that parties a lot, like you like to go out and drink and have a good time, that's cool. But maybe like say, okay, this weekend I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go check out a museum, or I'm going to go check out something. I'm going to check out a bookstore. I'm going to check out a record store. Like just go do something different, or I'm gonna go walk in the park.
Yes.
Be outside in nature.
Yes, absolutely. And maybe as you walking outside in nature, some things that I found that helpful is just like, I'm thankful for this, Lord.
Yes, I'm thankful
for the trees. I'm thankful for the sun being out today. I'm thankful that I can walk. I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for that. Having an attitude of gratitude, that's something that you can definitely do anytime of the day.
Especially when you're outside. And speaking of trees, since you brought that up, I guess it was like a year ago now, I was walking on my block to go meet a friend at a bar, right? And when I was walking, it was raining really bad. I'm walking and I hear this loud cracking sound, right? And I'm like, what is that? Like, it was so loud that I was scared to turn around and look to see what happened. So I turned around and this huge tree fell.
Wow.
Literally steps away from where I was walking.
Whoa.
Like the tree fell and I was just like, I found myself like emotional about it. I'm like, oh my gosh, like this tree. And then like ever since then, I just have a different connection with trees. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like I was never like, I'm an earth sign, but I was never like a girl like, oh, I love the trees and I wasn't that person. But like from that day, I was like, trees, like I see trees, I'm like, yo, I'm grateful for the oxygen. I'm grateful, like you're
right,
like you're
because those are the things that trees provide. And that's another thing, like we said, when you're on this journey, you're becoming sensitive to more things.
Becoming sensitive, and that's me. Like, oh my gosh, my fiance met me. I remember it was like the second date. We were out having drinks after we walking down the block. I'm like hugging trees. He's like just looking like, I just love you. I never seen nobody going around hugging trees, but I hug trees because I love trees. It's like we have a new connection and I acknowledge them. I really do. Like,
yes,
hey tree, oh, that's a beautiful one. Look at those flowers on it. Like, and I make him do it too. Like he notices as well now. Like, okay.
Because again, vibrating higher, your people are going to recognize that about you and watch you, and you have the influence. That's another part about it. And I think people forget that sometimes it's not about what you say, it's about how you carry yourself.
Yes.
And people are always, you'll be surprised, people are always watching. So just kind of when you carry yourself a certain way and you speak a certain way, you always be cognizant of that. Just that, you never know who's watching and who you'll give an impression upon. Right. So I think we have reading. We mentioned the 4 agreements. You mentioned another book. What was it again?
Asking It Is Given by Abraham Hicks. And then One Day My Soul Just Opened Up by Iyanla Vanzant. And I'll add one more book because my mom's an author now. Okay. So you get her book. It is the Sister Soul Circle.
Okay.
Sister Prayer Circle. So they have a prayer group that they do every single day. They have a prayer line that you could call into. And her book is really good because it has just like a daily affirmation, an I am statement that you could read. So you read the I am statement and you could like jot down your thoughts behind that statement after, which is beautiful. Like that's a good way too. So
okay, perfect. Yes. And then this is something that I would like for everyone to do, and I think this would be super helpful. So I would say, when you embark on this journey, when you've made the decision, listen, I want to be a better person. I want to vibrate higher. I don't want to take things too personally anymore. I say that you need to write a letter of all the things you want to let go of. Everything that you want to let go of, as much as you can. Go on a rampage of letting go. You're going to write that letter out and then you're going to burn it.
Yes.
Set it to a flame and be done with it and start your journey. Another thing is the body is so important, and sometimes we eat things that is not good for our body. So I would say a 3-day fast. Of course, consult your doctor, but you choose what it is you want to abstain from. Maybe it's soda, maybe it's coffee, maybe it's the sugars. You choose what it is that you want to fast for and you want to abstain from. And I guarantee at the end of those 3 days, you'll feel a lot better. And you'll feel a lot freer, because a lot of that stuff, it has a tendency to weigh our body down.
Yeah.
Unbeknownst.
Cloud your judgment.
Yeah, clouds your judgment. Like, I feel like sometimes if I drink a coffee with like real sugar, I feel like, Super Mario Brother, like a power up. I'm like, like when I drink that stuff, I be like, oh. And if you're not aware, like sometimes if you drink too much of that stuff, it really like causes you to feel like really weird and out of touch, so to speak.
Anxious, overwhelmed, and
all of those things that you don't want to be dealing with. So, find something to fast from. If it's an overall diet or an overall haul of who you are, that's fine. But, if you need to consult with your doctor prior to doing something like that, definitely do that. But yeah, fast from something from 3 days to keep yourself, to start that part of the journey off. And lastly, do intentional acts that reinforces the changes you're trying to make, right? So if I'm fasting from coffee, I need to be intentional. I'm probably not going to Dunkin' Donuts in the morning on a Dunkin' run, so I get tempted. You know what I'm saying? I'm probably going to say I'm going to have tea at home, maybe no real processed sugar, maybe honey, maybe agave or something like that. But whatever you plan your new routine in this, going on this journey, just be intentional with how you move forward in it. So like for me, YouTube is a great tool. Yoga in the morning. Never went to a yoga studio in my life, but I follow a Black yoga instructor, Nico, and I would do yoga in the morning. And let me tell you, that just set the tone for my whole day. I feel so at peace and so relaxed. So if you want to do some yoga and get into it, check out her YouTube page, Nico Black Yogi. Check her out. So we didn't do it at the beginning of the episode because we jumped right in, but I want to play a little game so we can get to know our fly guest, okay? So we're going to play Eat, Vibe, and Rejuvenate. So what is your go-to meal that makes you do the little greedy dance when you know you about to have it? What is your go-to meal?
Yes. Okay, my go-to meal. I love salmon.
When you say it. How do you like it prepared?
So sometimes I make jerk salmon or I like lemon pepper.
Okay,
I make a jerk or lemon pepper with some mashed potatoes and Brussels sprouts or asparagus, any vegetable like kale. I love kale too. And something else that I absolutely love that makes me do a little happy thing is pomegranates. I love pomegranates. Like I eat those like every day.
Okay. All right. So when we get in our big green room and get on that big platform, next time you come, we're going to have some pomegranates for you, girl. Okay. So then we have vibe. What is your song of choice, artist, song? What do you like to vibe to?
Me, artist of choice. I love Blast. I love Art Lennox. Like, those are like my go-to, Art Lennox, and I love Brent Faiyaz. Like, he's one of my favorite too. Like,
what's your top Faiyaz song?
Oh my gosh, can I choose?
Just one.
I say Jackie Brown because I like that song. I love that song. I love them all. I love all his songs, and I'm gonna be honest with y'all. One thing, I love music so much, but I'm not good with titles sometimes. Like, I could sing a song, know it from word for word, but somebody like, what's the name of the song? And I'm like, I don't know, but this is the artist, so.
Well, I, for one, I love singing songs and I don't know the words at all. And I do not be caring. My daughters and my sons, they be like, look at her, just singing nothingness. And I feel like I'm going bar for bar. Catch me in my car. I'm going bar for bar, not knowing the words. Okay, and rejuvenate. What do you do to, we may have already discussed some of the things, and that's perfectly fine. But what do you what's like something you do to rejuvenate? Bad day, just need to.
Yeah. So I love taking spiritual baths.
Tell us what that entails.
Taking a spiritual bath, it's cleansing. So usually, like when I do take a spiritual bath, you could look online and they'll show you, or YouTube, and you could follow other people's baths. But for me, I listen to what my spirit is saying to add to my bath.
Oh, okay.
So, I'll take a bath. A lot of the times, I'll add cinnamon sticks or actual cinnamon.
Okay.
I add bay leaves. I add flour, flowers, not flour.
Okay.
Flowers. I like candles. I, cleanse my bathroom before I clean it from top to bottom, stage my bathroom, light some candles, light some incense, and I just sit there and I listen to frequencies. I listen to some frequencies to quiet my mind.
Tell me about this frequency. I'm very interested. What is that? Tell me.
If you go on YouTube, you could just look up different frequencies for different things. So for me, I first really started tapping into frequencies during the pandemic.
Okay.
When we were home and I was having anxiety bad. After a while of being in the house, I'm like, this is getting crazy now. This is a lot. So I was having trouble sleeping. So I happened to go on YouTube and I started looking up stuff to sleep. Yeah. And then the frequencies were coming up. It was frequencies to help you sleep, to calm anxiety, to calm stress.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, and it's this vibration, the sound just really does something to you. And when I'm telling you, when I started listening to them, I was sleeping straight through the night.
Wow.
It's powerful. It really has an effect on your spirit, your body. You can really feel the difference when you turn on some frequencies and listen to it. So,
see, that's why these conversations are so important.
Yes.
Because I didn't know anything about the whole frequency thing. I do like to listen to white noise and the bath and the water and stuff like that. I absolutely love that, but I didn't know there was something specific to frequency.
Yes.
See, that's why I love this game.
Yes, I love it.
All right, so please let the people know where they can find you on your social media.
Okay. So guys, you can find me on Instagram or TikTok at Naja C _ NAJAHC _ You can follow there. And also from my business page, you guys can follow there too if you have children or you want children, children. You can follow Financially Lit Kids on Instagram and TikTok as well. That's where you can find us.
All right. So I want to thank Naja for coming on and having this awesome conversation about vibrating higher. I want to thank you all for spending time with me today. You could have been anywhere else, but you decided to kick it with your fly auntie, and I appreciate you. Don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe The Fly on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. And don't forget to subscribe, y'all. We love y'all over there.
Yes, we do. And before we go, I just want to say thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Thank you for reaching out to have me here. I'm excited to be here to, do this with you. And I have to say, y'all, don't the fly on look really fly today? Look, the green.
See that New York energy?
Look, I love the green. This is it's my color. It's my favorite color. Okay, zoom in on it now. Look. But that's my color. You look beautiful, and thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you. I appreciate your energy, and I thank you for coming on. Until the next episode, bye.